gimmicky fun for everyone. Sold
Leonardo, the katana blade. My God.
Attack the evil Inhumanoid, forcing him back into the earth.
Hey, the name's Boglins. You sold separately.
We battle our Huma and Skeletor each sold separately. You put them out together.
Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful.
Battle against Lion-O and the new Thundercat ally.
Hey guys, welcome back to That New Toy Smell. This week we're looking at the 4-inch Fortnite figures. And why are we looking at these figures? Because this guy is an addict and his drug is Fortnite. And he loves these figures and he's been collecting these ever since they came out at Christmas, and since his birthday is a month after Christmas, between Christmas and his birthday and his allowance, everything goes to Fortnite and Fortnite toys. So today we're going to take a look at these 4-inch figures from Jazwares. Let's take a look.
Fortnite originally started off as a co-op zombie survival game, which is now dubbed Save the World. It was released for beta access on July 25th, 2017. Along with it, a free mode called Battle Royale was released, and it quickly gained a large following. At Toy Fair 2019, Jazwares revealed their new set of action figures, and among the pile was a set of Fortnite figures. In December of 2019, the figures were released into stores, and I may or may not have bought all of them. These figures are 4 inches tall and have 17 to 25 points of articulation. While they do look like they could be posed in just about every which way, however, they can be very stiff when they first come out of the packaging, but just using them a little bit can remedy that issue. However, if you use them too much, the points will become loose and even harder to pose. And I would like to clarify something right now. I am not an expert on these action figures. I probably missed a few figures because I couldn't find an official release date, and Jazwares' Twitter account just shows them released every 3 weeks or so I'm led to believe they just kept chucking them out like power-ups in the first world of a Super Mario game. With this in mind, I will now go over all of the characters, ranging by the types of ways they've been released. There are 5 different packages, but one more I'll get to later. Solo, which is just a character, a building piece, and some weapons. Early game, which is just a character, 4 building pieces, a back bling, some weapons, and an umbrella. Llamas, which have a unique character, a bunch of unique building pieces, and a whole slew of items and back blings. Squads, which features 4 characters, each with their own pickaxe, some building pieces, and a few weapons, and finally, builder sets, which generally feature 2 characters, some pickaxes, weapons, and back blings, but the real focus is on the building materials, which they provide a lot of, and quite unique ones as well. For Solo, you have Raptor, Carbide, Bandolier, Drift, Technique, Calamity, Toxic Trooper, Havoc, Dark Bomber, Battlehound, Skull Trooper, Ruckus, Verge, Triads Trooper, Frostbite, Healy, Longshot, and DJ Yonder. For the early game sets, you have Omega, The Visitor, AIM, and Vendetta. Yeah, only 4 of these. For the Llamas, you have Rustlord, Skull Ranger, Dark Voyager, Warpaint, Ice King, and Frozen Raven. For the squads, you have Rex, Cuddle Team Leader, Bright Bomber, Ragnarok, Omen, Moisty Merman, Trog, Ravage, Bunker Jonesy, Rox, Sentinel, and Dream. For the builder sets, you get Raven, Jonesy, Black Knight, Crackshot, Leviathan, Rabbit Raider, Vertex, and Mission Specialist. Now, for the last one I alluded to earlier, it's vehicles. There's only 3 right now, and the real focus is on the vehicles, not quite the skins they come with. But the vehicles we do have are a Quad Crasher, the remote-controlled ATK, or all-terrain cart, or golf cart, and the Cloud Strike Glider Drone. Yep, you heard me right, it's a drone. And the figures that come with these are Burnout with the Quad Crasher, Drift with the ATK, and Purple Skull Trooper with the Cloud Strike drone. Now, you may have heard me mention Drift off earlier when I was naming off the solos. That's because there's two versions. One where he has this big overcoat and mask, and then the other one where he just looks like a normal dude. Now, these figures are actually very accurate to the in-game models for these skins, even getting some of the smaller details right. If you're a fan of Fortnite, or just like some of the designs, I'd recommend these. They look very nice.
Alright, so, nice video, by the way, taking a look at all those figures. There's a lot of figures. Actually, I'm surprised. There's a lot more figures than you have. Like, I thought you had them all. You do not have them all. So, I at least give you credit on not having all of them.
I will, though.
Will you?
Yes.
Someday?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's take a look at some of the ones you have here on the table. This, by the way, this cardboard box is full. Let's bring the camera in here. It's full of weapons and these pieces, these building pieces. Some of these, okay, so why do some of these have a little peg for the figures to stand on, and some, well, that one does. This one doesn't. So why do some have the peg and some don't?
I have no clue.
Huh. Okay, fair enough, I guess. What are the different? So obviously we've got wood.
Yep. We have brick, which is the second strongest, and then metal, which is obviously the strongest. These, you probably noticed, these are actually editing for like when you can edit structures in the game. These are what appear.
Oh, see, I figured they were ice or glass.
Nope.
I see. Okay, and then you've got a stack of these over here that are pre-built. What are these things over here?
These come from the piñatas. They have custom sprays on them, because in the game, in Fortnite, you can get sprays from the Battle Pass.
So it's graffiti.
Yeah, because this character's a graffiti artist.
Ah, so wait, this character's a graffiti artist.
Yep.
So this is, well, this is Lady J from G.I. Joe.
No, it's
it's
Technique.
Oh, Technique. Huh. Okay. Whatever. Let's see. We've got Lizard Man Bob.
Rex.
We've got Stunt Guy Dave.
Burnout.
Okay, fair enough. We've got. Wait! I know this guy. I know this guy for real. This is Carbide.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I know that one.
All right. Then where's your guy?
This is Omega, right?
Yeah.
Omega, and I know this one because you're always like, hey, he looks like a Tron guy, so you should always buy him.
He does look like a Tron guy.
And he kind of looks like a Tron.
And you like Tron.
I do like Tron.
Well, who's this guy?
That's, that is Cheese Grater Face.
Rust Lord.
Okay.
He's inspired by Star-Lord.
Oh, really?
Who then actually got into Fortnite.
So, some of these are kind of generic. So, like this guy, this is Daft Punk. They put them in the game.
Dark Voyager.
Why? So why is he like just a random like astronaut in a black spacesuit?
For Season 3 of Fortnite, the entire point of the Battle Pass was space exploration because a giant meteorite was going to crash onto the island, which is then what caused superheroes and then the villain. It's a whole mess.
So when it started, it was more of these army guy type dudes, and then when the meteorite came, it allowed them to do more of the crazy over the top stuff. Like this guy, like Ramhead here, like Squid Ramhead. What's
Ragnarok?
Okay.
Because he causes Ragnarok.
Okay, fair enough.
And would you believe that these two guys are related?
The pink kitty and Ram Squid head?
Yes.
Huh. Now, and we've got, looks like Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe with motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't actually know this guy's name. He's just generic biker number 43.
Does he come with the unicorn thing? Oh, okay. All right.
No, that's hers.
Oh, okay. Alright, so, now these figures, they're kind of in the G.I. Joe type size. They're a little bit bigger. G.I. Joes are 3 3/4 inch. These are 4 inch, so they're just a little bit bigger than your standard G.I. Joes. But they have a lot of articulation, I've noticed. Like, some say like 17 points, some say 19, some say 25, some say 27. I mean, they have a lot of movement in there. Like, do you find yourself doing a lot of posing when you're playing with these? Because I noticed that a lot of these are on like your bookshelf and your desk, and you do a lot of building and posing and stuff with them. But do you do as much with these? Like build? Because I've never seen you really build like a house or...
I have before, but if you actually want to grab the close-up machine, if you look at them, they go in with these pegs, and these pegs break off very easily. So I've already gotten 4 or 5 pieces that have just snatched, just trying to put them in. So
you do have one big piece over there that you built.
This was one of the first things I built, and I've been wanting to use this in a video for like 6 months now. It just says hi, and I would always imagine just like, I have it bring in, hi guys, what's going on? And then I just throw it to the side, that's it, that's the gag. But I've never really recorded.
Wait, hold it up again, hold it, because I don't think everybody saw the hi. So it's the brown is the letters hi. There you go, okay. Huh.
But I've never really recorded anything to use it, and anything I have recorded hasn't been with me because I don't want this on camera, and I don't think anyone else does, so.
Now, you do have this vehicle here, which is the ATV.
Quad Crasher.
Quad Crasher.
ATK is the golf cart.
Okay, sure. Now, the Quad Crasher here, I noticed there's pegs for people to stand in the back.
Yep.
There's pegs down here for the driver, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Are there pegs anywhere else?
Nope, it's a 2-player vehicle.
Oh, so one person's supposed to stand?
Yes.
I see. Okay, so when you play the game, then, does it automatically have one person stand here to shoot while one person is driving?
Yeah.
I see.
And then if you look at the back, there's a jet engine which propels it forward to destroy stuff.
To smash through.
Yeah.
And then it has this front, kind of like the front of a train.
And then people started using it to fly, so they removed it. And any other fun item in the vehicle. Thanks, Chapter 2, Season 1.
Okay. And then, what is this thing? Why do you have a tiny green lunchbox?
This is a ammo box. In it, there's you can buy from the store. In them, there's just a few assorted items in there. They're generally about $5 or 5 to 7 in places. There are also chests, but I never kept any of the chests, which I'm really upset about because I actually really do like them.
Were they plastic shells like that?
Yes.
And you threw them away?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, that's not thinking.
No.
All right. Now, the 4-inch figures are not the only Fortnite figures.
No.
So they've got 6-inch figures. They've got 12-inch figures. They've got.
They have. And plus, there's even stuff that aren't actually figures.
Well, no, but they also have like tiny ones, like 3-inch ones, and you've got some of those as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple of the 6-inch ones?
Nope.
None of those.
Well, no, I have one, and then I have one of the 12-inch.
Oh, that's right, because everything Tomato Head.
Yeah.
You buy everything with Tomato Head. You even have a knockoff of Tomato Head.
Yeah.
And that's why you have the Tomato Head mask. Yes.
Everything Tomato Head.
Everything Tomato Head. Because you're in the cult of Tomato Head.
Praise the tomato.
All right. Now let's go back to these sprays for a second.
Okay.
I see 2 of them here. Okay, there's how many different ones do you have?
About 6.
They all come in the llamas?
They're all llamas only.
So does this mean you bought the same llama twice? Because I noticed that this one is here, this one's here, this one's here, and this one's here.
Yes, because I got 2 of the same ones. I got one for my birthday and then one for Christmas, and they were the same one.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that happens sometimes. And then, does it bother you at all that, like, all of these are just mixed in the box? Like, do you remember all the figures that go to all of these weapons?
They don't go to them. That's the entire point of it.
Okay, so, like, this isn't someone's particular...
I mean, it's obviously his, but anyone can wear it. Actually, this is supposed to go with this guy. Because they're always together. They're in the same set. This doesn't match. In fact, it matches with newer characters more than the classic.
Okay. So you just have a big shoebox full of this, and you know, I bring this up like it's a problem, but the thing is, when I was a kid, this is exactly what we would do with our G.I. Joes and our Star Wars guys, is you would just dump them all in a shoebox, the exact same way, and they'd all be mixed up. Now, as an adult, I have all these little baggies. I was trying to see, I thought I had them sitting around here somewhere. But we have all these little baggies. You put them in little baggies and keep everything separate, and I know exactly which ones go with which ones because they're all in separate baggies. But yeah, this is exactly what we did as a kid. And, you know, who cared? Like, there's no problem. And you actually started to break me out of that a little bit when we were opening all of the 5.5 figures. No, not with those, but with the Savage World figures, the He-Man figures, and the He-Man type figures, because we actually just ripped them open. We played with them all one day, and we just put them all in one big box. All the weapons, all the figures, everything in there. So there are a few that I kept aside, but for the most part, they're all just in the big box to play with. So cool.
And if you can't tell, these are fun to pose and just mess with. That just ran out of battery.
Yeah, that just ran out of battery. So that's good because this segment's done.
All right, cool.
All right. So thanks for sharing all these toys. All right, now move this out of the way.
All right.
Because now it's time to do the mailbag. Mailbag. All right, try not to make any noise.
I want to mail cry.
Okay. All right. So first thing, several episodes ago, I said to you guys I wanted to get stuff from your collection. Send in pictures or videos of your collections. And I got a longtime viewer, Bart. He sent in a bunch of photos from his collection. I put them together in a little video here. And I put the name of his YouTube channel down here at the bottom. I'll put a link in the description. So you can find a link to his channel. He does a lot of little videos with toys. He opens some on camera. And he lives... Oh man, I looked it up earlier and now I've already forgotten. It's
Colorado?
No, it's oh my gosh. Is it Philippines?
Huh?
Ha 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 ha. No one knows that that's your name because your name's Gamer.
Yeah.
Crap. Now I feel bad because I can't remember exactly. He lives, and now it won't load. Here we go. He lives in another part of Philippines. He lives in the Philippines. So there we go. So check him out. He's got some neat stuff, and because he lives in the Philippines as opposed to where we live in the United States, he still has Toys R Us.
What?
Yep, they still have them over there. They're completely different though than here. I mean, yes, they have toys, but they also have like bootleg knockoffs and stuff in the same store.
Yeah, but those are like the coolest.
I know, it's kind of neat to see that. But anyway, here's his collection. Check it out. Okay, so coming back, let's take a look at some of the comments and stuff that we got after last week's episode.
Which happened to be on...
the reaction figures. This was part 2 of the reaction figures.
And I'm just saying that because I didn't forget.
Okay, sure. Scott Neely, of course, in his 10,000... No, I'm just giving you a hard time, Scott. Giving you a hard time. He said he's stoked for the Masters of the Universe Origins. He says, I said that they were, right now they're going like $30-35, and he's like, what? These need to be $12.99 when they come out. Where did I see a price that high? The price I'm seeing that are all the ones that have come out so far. Now, granted, they've been like convention ones that have been coming out that have been that price. So granted, when they come to retail, They should be cheaper than that, but right now, yeah, the ones that were like for PowerCon and for Comic-Con and stuff like that, all of those have been up in that $30, $35 a piece range, which for me is just way too high to pay for all of that stuff. So that price is really too high. I'm never going to pay that for these figures. I don't, even if it's something I really, if they make Disco Skeletor as a convention exclusive for $50, that's great. I'm not buying it, and I'll pretty much give up on the line at that point. That's just one of those things. I won't do that anymore. Like, I've given up on that whole thing. I can't, you know. But as far as when they hit retail, I would like to see them at about $15, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. I have a feeling that they're just going to be probably $20. Maybe they'll be at that $15, $17 range, but the biggest problem I see is that they may be a Walmart exclusive, like the WWE Eternia, the Masters of the WWE Universe type figures, and those. We've got 3 Walmarts in town. We've got a Walmart half hour north, a Walmart half hour to the east, and a Walmart half hour to the west. I still couldn't get all of those figures in stores. I ended up having to get a couple of the ones I wanted off of eBay, paying $25 to get them because you couldn't find them in stores. Because Mattel is so terrible and Walmart is so clueless about getting the stuff out in stores and getting into people's hands. So if that starts happening with these figures, if they say, hey, they're in Walmart, it's a Walmart exclusive line, and I go into Walmart and there's a Ram Man and a Man at Arms and that's all I can find, I'm not buying them. I will give up on the line and that's it. Alright, one of the other things that we talked about in the last episode was whether or not you could eat toys. You can eat toys. Scott Neely says, well, sure, you can eat Food Fighters and Mr. Potato Head. And the original Mr. Potato Head, you would actually take a real potato. You only got the accessories that you would stick into it. So you took an actual real potato from your pantry and stuck the eyes and nose and stuff in it. So technically, if you wanted to eat raw potato, you could eat the original Mr. Potato Head. So that's a thing as well. Let's see, Scott also added that he has tons of the reaction figures because he loves 3 3/4 inch figures. But he says Masters of the Universe looks strange in that line. He says, why aren't they squatting like they need to poop? Because they're always in that hunched over thing. And I said, that needs to be a tagline, like on a t-shirt. Masters of the Universe, squatting like they need to poop.
That could be some Pop Culture Network merch.
Maybe. Let's see, talking about toy lines. We've discussed, the idea of looking at some more obscure toy lines that maybe some of you guys are interested in. He says, what about Micronauts, Shogun Warriors, or the Mego Superheroes? So those are all things that we could take a look at. And I don't think you're familiar with any of those at all. You hinted at a future show we were looking at, and he said, oh yes, the DC Toys to Life figures that worked on the iPads. And no, those are actually not the ones we're talking about. The ones we're talking about made a deal with DC, and they showed off prototypes at Toy Fair, but they never made it to retail. The line ended before the DC ones actually came out. But nonetheless, nice try. After you mentioned that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that Toys to Life line. But anyway.
Yeah, it is Toys to Life, though. That's very, very important.
Ryder Origin wrote in to say that he has the Blueberry Merman figure that we showed off, but his was a factory second. And I said, what do you mean a factory second? And he says he likes to go through eBay. They're figures that for some reason or another don't pass the quality control check in the factories, and so usually they're relegated to the trash heap. But factory workers will pick them and list them for sale online. Most of the time these figures will contain minor cosmetic imperfections, but every now and then you might see a figure with 2 left arms or no head. They make ideal custom fodder, or making one to complete a collection. If you keep in mind that they are far from perfect, and he said, mine had stuck limbs that had to be unfrozen by dipping them in hot water. So basically, it was too tight, and they couldn't move. So he had to kind of melt them a little bit in hot water to get them loose enough that he could actually move them around a little bit. So, okay, that's interesting. And then, of course, after he said that, I went, duh, I actually own a factory second figure, but we're going to save that for another day.
See, one thing I've always been interested are the action figure prototypes.
And mine is a factory second of a recreation of a prototype.
Whoa.
So
I'm not following that at all.
it's a very odd thing. So one future video that we're working on here is going to be weird stuff from your toy collection. Looking at stuff like customs or like things that I've picked up at like Comic-Cons that are one-off toys or things like that, and that is one of the pieces that I will show off in that. What were you?
I had a Iron Man Hulkbuster armor that had the legs backwards.
That's right, I forgot about that.
And I was always figuring out how can I get the legs back. And then as I got older, I realized I don't want the legs back. This is unique and cool.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but it was actually assembled with the legs on the wrong side, facing the wrong direction. Yeah.
So if he ever had to poop, he'd face the wall.
Oh, this ended.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Writer Origin also said there's a 1992 toy line called Legends of the Knights and Dragons.
That sounds cool.
So that's something that we may end up taking a look at as well. So,
I do like dragons.
We'll throw that one on the side burner there. Let's see. Something else we'll add. Okay, so I added. One of the things, of course, I've been doing is recovering some of the lost episodes of That New Toy Smell from the run, doing data recovery on old hard drives. I've been trying to reassemble some and save some that have been lost over the years. One of the ones that just went up last week was episode 83. I got a better quality version than the one that had been up for a very long time. And this was the very first Transformers-related episode that we did, the Power Core Combiners, done by Sweenholic. And it just so happened, though, that the episode, when we recorded it, was happening during the time of the Arab Spring. And the time of the Arab Spring was when a lot of protests and revolts and riots were going on over in the Middle East. And so we used that as sort of a backdrop for people rioting and protesting, wanting Transformers reviews on That New Toy Smell. So it just so happened that in the midst of everything going on right now, the next episode that I went to post happened to be an episode where we were rioting and protesting. And I kind of wondered if I should put it up or if I shouldn't. It was, one of those like, I don't know. Chris Novoselic, who he apparently was in Nirvana, is a fan of the show, which is kind of cool. I didn't realize he was a fan of the show, but I'm glad he wrote in. And he said for a 10-year-old video, the opening is very topical. Bonus points for that. And
ahead of the times.
For a guy who's politically active, you would know. And yeah, it's just one of those things that, like, I wondered if I should post it or not. It just seemed like if I didn't post it, then somehow I was giving in, or I don't know. It just seemed like the wrong idea, because I wasn't gonna not post it for the wrong reason. I was posting it because it was the next thing. I was following the schedule. This is what's next, so I posted it. And that just so happened. So that's Mondays. Every Monday we get a new flashback of That New Toy Smell. Let's see. Another comment that was left on that video was from Skims, saying, loving all the re-uploads of these classic videos. That New Toy Smell was one of my favorite web series growing up. Why did it stop? And how come some of the episodes are deleted and lost? I missed the Heroescape episode. Well, you can look for an episode I did called, I used to do a show called That New Toy Smell.
That's in the iCard up in one of these corners.
Maybe I'll just link it in the bottom. Because I don't... anyway. But anyway, that... To make a long story short, we used to do everything on Blip TV. because YouTube in 2008 wasn't really much of a thing. And YouTube really didn't come around as being a big thing with like advertising and being a real platform until like, I want to say 2011, 2012. So for those first few years, we did everything on Blip. And also YouTube capped everything at 10 minutes, which made it really tough. Because our show, we really wanted to do like this 40-minute, half-hour show. So what we would do is we would do the real show that was long, and then we'd cut it into chunks and upload it to YouTube if we could. Blip TV ended up going out of business. And so everything that was on Blip TV just disappeared. And that really sucked. YouTube didn't get bought out by Google for several years. It was its own private company. And every so often, you'd log into YouTube and they'd be like, hey guys, we had some servers crash last night and we lost some files. And so if you see any of your videos missing, you'll need to go ahead and re-upload them. And so some of the stuff would just kind of disappear after a while. And sometimes they wouldn't even tell you. You would just go back and go, some of our videos are gone. We'll have to re-upload those.
And YouTube hasn't gotten better.
It's gotten a little better.
1%.
So,
maybe 2.
So that's kind of what happened to a lot of those. And then some of them, after Pixel Dan, he had a falling out with Duvall. Duvall ended up leaving the show, and then Pixel Dan wanted to end that new toy smell, and then he kind of felt, with everything that happened, the bad blood with him and Duvall, he deleted a bunch of the stuff off of his channel. So some of the ones that were on the Pop Culture Network channel, of course, they were able to survive until random YouTube server crashes, of course, deleted some of those. So I was able to reconstruct some with random pieces I had on these hard drives. Some of them I still have the project files. So I was able to open the project files and actually output a brand new 1080p version, even though they were filmed in like 720p. I was able to kind of upscale it, clean it a little bit, and output them. But some of them are just gone forever. Some of them I only have like part 1 and part 3. Like the live segments, I'm missing the video review part, or I have the video review part, but I don't have any of the live segments. So you'll see on some of those flashbacks as I upload them, some of them are bits and pieces of different episodes, and some of them are full episodes, and it just kind of depends on what I'm able to recover. So.
Now, kids, this is why you always back up your videos. Always make sure you have...
Yes, but I did back up on the hard drives, and then the hard drives that I had backed up died. So that's why I'm doing the data recovery on the hard drives, trying to recover the backups.
Well, don't let them die.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't do that, hard drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Going back to the first episode of 2020, when we talked about the Masters of the WWE Universe figures, Samuel Murdoch actually commented that the heads and limbs actually pop off of some of the figures, so that you can take off some of those hard to move armor pieces and move them from figure to figure, but then you can also like swap heads and swap arms and stuff. Now I know you could do that with like the arms and on the original Masters of the Universe figures. I didn't realize you could do that on these figures because I didn't want to break these figures. I didn't know if that was possible, and I didn't want to pull too hard, so I would kind of tug on it a little bit, but if it didn't give, I backed off and gave up on it. So now that I know that that's possible, I might go back and try it.
Now, if you guys remember when we were talking about our favorite toys from last episode, a few episodes ago, I mentioned I liked the hero mashups with like the Marvel and Star Wars ones. So, plus wrestling, being able to mix around wrestlers. I mean, I love wrestling more the characters than the actual sport itself. So that's going to be something I'm going to play with as well. And one thing with these Fortnite figures, actually, you can pull apart the heads and body parts very easily.
On these?
Yeah.
On these little guys?
Yeah, they just pop off and pop back in.
Oh, really?
The only ones I've ever had trouble with are... What was this guy? What'd you name him?
Squid Ramhead?
Yeah. And Raven right here. But that's just because if you look, they have the giant, like, cloak things on the legs, which are hard to get back on.
So you pop them off at like the thigh?
Yeah, you just right there.
Or up here?
Where it connects to the butt.
Oh, okay. So not in the middle of the leg, but
No.
at the butt. I got you. Funny. Okay. And then last little bit here, we did put up the poll in the Pop Culture Network group, so it is up and ready to go for the greatest Masters of the Universe figures. I'm actually surprised. I thought everybody would vote for the He-Man Classics figure, but they actually went for the vintage. So the original vintage He-Man and Skeletor are the top figures, right now being followed by Disco Skeletor and the vintage Triclops. So that's actually kind of exciting. But we're going to get this also announced on Fans of Power this weekend, get some more people to come in and vote. And of course, all of you, I hope you will come to the Pop Culture Network group and come vote on that as well. And of course, that is something that we will discuss again in a further episode down the line as we get more of that data.
So subscribe and stay tuned.
There you go. All right. So I think that's going to do... Do you have anything else that you need to add?
I like Spider-Man.
Fair enough. That's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And why are we looking at these figures? Because the dog is running by with a jangly collar, and that's the perfect time for him to do that.